The Lowdown. Audio downloads for people who are long on ambition but short on time. The Lowdown. Doing Business in Mexico. Written by Christopher West and presented by Trevor White and Lorelei King.
Hello, and welcome to Doing Business in Mexico. Today we're going to give you the lowdown on how to do business in Mexico, using cultural and social know-how to get the best results. These are quick and easy tips for business people who plan to visit Mexico. There's a bit of travel advice and some cultural background, but it's not a tourist guide. With a population of 111 million, Mexico is the world's 11th most populous country and the world's most populous Spanish-speaking country. Ranked 13th among the world's economies, a little behind India and ahead of South Korea, its growing population, growing middle class, and proximity to the United States make it a key market in which to do business, as it diversifies away from an overdependence on oil and tourism. There is nothing particularly difficult or complicated about doing business in Mexico, but the proximity to the United States can encourage people to draw false conclusions, and the different kinds of business protocol you may encounter could surprise you. The approach we'll take will be broadly chronological. How to make initial contact, how to plan your trip, how business meetings are run, social activities that may accompany a business visit, how to follow up and hopefully close the deal, nailing the deal down, contracts and labor issues. To avoid awkward male-female references, we'll normally use the male gender as we discuss things. However, you'll find Mexican businesswomen at all levels and in all kinds of Mexican businesses, though women still tend to be in a minority at the very top levels of business and government. Mexico is a good place to do business, but you may find it takes longer to close a deal than would be the case in the UK or the US, and you may be confronted with unexpected regulatory or legal hurdles. Patience, good humor, and a positive attitude will help you enormously and will be appreciated by your Mexican counterparts. An attempt to speak even a little Spanish, one of the world's easier languages to learn, will also be appreciated, though most people in international business have an intermediate to advanced knowledge of usually American-style English. Let's get started.
What I read about Mexico in the newspapers and see on the television sometimes makes me feel nervous. The government appears to be at war with drug traffickers in some parts of the country, and the level of violence is worrying.
It's true that for some years now, the military, as well as the police, have been attempting to control the drug gangs who engage in more or less continuous turf wars. There are some decidedly dangerous cities. Ciudad Juarez, across the border from El Paso in Texas, is one of them. However, it's very unlikely that you would be exposed to violence or danger in a typical business situation, even in cities where the crime rate is high. Do take sensible precautions, of course, using transport provided by your hotel or your business contact, unless you speak Spanish fluently and are reasonably familiar with your location, and avoid walking in isolated areas. Be smart. Personal appearance does tend to count for more than is often the case in the UK or the US, particularly when people first meet, but avoid wearing ostentatious watches or jewelry. Credit cards are accepted almost universally, so there's no need to carry a lot of cash, and ATMs are easily found in hotels, supermarkets, and the like, but avoid using them in the street if possible.
Is it a difficult place to do business culturally?
Usually not at all, but you should be aware that there are at least 3 types of business culture, and behavior differs in each. Firstly, there are the subsidiaries of foreign multinationals. The United States and Spain perhaps have the largest number of subsidiaries in Mexico, but there are companies belonging to multinationals from all over the globe. Here, the culture of the HQ of the multinational usually prevails. So a subsidiary of a U.S. company will tend to do its management accounts following US GAAP, generally accepted accounting practices, and follow U.S. habits, perhaps starting and finishing relatively early in the day by Mexican standards, and taking a button-down, no-nonsense approach to negotiations. A subsidiary of a Spanish company will do its management accounts following European IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, and may well work later and longer hours with a longer break at lunchtime.